I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of our moderator, Oyindamola Bankole, as she takes us on this journey from Africa to the world on becoming a global talent. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, please, a hand for our panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toba. Welcome to today's session. As Toba mentioned, the topic for this session is Africa to the World, How to Become a Global Talent. And this session is sponsored by Gray, a fintech company that simplifies the sending and receiving of foreign payments for freelancers, remote workers, and businesses. The MC has graciously introduced everyone here, but I'll still like everyone to give them a round of applause, please. Okay, fantastic. So they'll be speaking to their personal experiences on being a global talent, as well as the challenges that they faced and how to earn in foreign currency. So I'm sure most people want to jackpot or have had friends that want to jackpot, right? So you need to pay rapt attention to the questions as well as their answers. So we'll just jump right into it because we're pressed for time. So I'll start with Fikayo. Fikayo is a star girl, right? She has worked in the Middle East, she has worked in Europe, she has worked in China, she has worked in Africa. Clap for her now. She has worked in on most continents, right? And she currently works at the London Stock Exchange. She should do giveaway, Abby. Okay, so I want to ask you, what's the best time to look for global opportunities? And how can one find them? And most importantly, when you find them, how can someone stand out?
Yeah, thanks everyone. So lovely to be here. I don't know why I'm on the jackpot panel, but thank you for this. Okay, so the first question is when to look for global opportunities. Honestly, when the thing is choking you, I don't know how else to put it, but I think the world is becoming global now. We're at a stage where if you can prove your talents, if you can prove that you are worthy of the work, then the work is there, right? So the main thing I do want to talk about on this question is the quality of your ability to attract global talent is a function of how you present, what your LinkedIn looks like, what your CV looks like. If you're looking for global talent at Microsoft, what you should be doing is Googling Microsoft CVs to see what the CV of people at Microsoft looks like and putting your CV in that format. Doing the same thing with your LinkedIn. The time to check for global talent, global opportunities is now. And it's about positioning yourself. And I think the other question was, how do you then capitalize on these opportunities? Okay, please don't drag me on Twitter, but I will just say that there's a lot of bad behavior within the Nigerian work culture. Those of you who are active on Twitter, I feel like I'm not just saying rubbish, but I think the best way to capitalize on global opportunities when you get them is to mirror the culture you're working with, right? So if you join a company like Microsoft and everybody logs in at 9 a.m. on a Monday saying good morning on Slack, then that's who you are now. If you join a company like Amazon and everybody goes on holiday for whatever reason or whatever day, people don't pray in the office, that's your culture now. It's basically being flexible and adaptable, I think, is the sort of general gist of it.
Thank you so much, Fikayo. So, in summary, she said, if you're in Rome, you have to behave like the Romans, right? And we need to stop calling people out on Twitter. We need to be well behaved in 2024. That's what I got from Fikayo. So, up next, Sam, I have a question for you. I know you've worked with several Nigerian companies before working with Safe. Can you tell us how you got your first international job?
So I think a little bit of luck and just a lot of applying. So I think on average, when I say got tired, just like Fikayo said, when it starts tricking you, I used to apply to 50, 60 jobs per day. I did not get any success from that process. But what it helped me do was, one, I understood that I think one mistake most people make is, and not to shade Fisayo, but exactly everyone wants to work for Microsoft or Amazon, and in my mind the journey, especially if you don't have the experience, to get to those companies is a lot harder. And so initially it was like applying to all the names that you can think of and show up on the Google first page, and you probably won't get a response. And so the thing that I started doing that like made a lot of success, at least in terms of interviews, was actually picking a niche and actually just going deep on that niche. Because what I wanted to do was a situation whereby I'm not just changing my CVs every single day to apply, but like I'm just going for one sector, and I know that like I can focus on every company within that sector and just keep attacking the different things. But what I actually did that was really successful was once I hear a company has put out an announcement, I'd spend 15, 20 minutes, read up on it, follow everybody on LinkedIn. I don't care if they follow me back. There'll be one or two that will follow you back, right? And what you're just hoping for is that window of opportunity where they actually post that they are looking to hire, and that's your time to like strike in the DM or whatever. And so,
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. I hope people are learning from Sam. Sam is a big boy. He has been to over 5 countries this year. So please pay attention. So what I've gotten from Sam is pick a niche. You don't have to go for the tech giants, but there are a lot of other opportunities out there. So thank you so much, Sam. So I have a question for Solomon, right? Solomon is a fintech founder. He's building Nomad Zone, a company that helps technical talents acquire visas, right? So if you have any relocation questions, just save it for Solomon. So Solomon, can you tell us some common challenges and pitfalls to avoid during the relocation process?
Thank you very much. But I would say if you're looking to relocate, I know a lot of people here, just show of hands. How many people plan to relocate? Raise your hands proudly. If you plan to relocate, you want to japa.
People are plenty. You don't like Nigeria.
Yes. Everyone wants to japa, but I would say some mistakes that people make is that a lot of all these countries, right, they have some things that they are not just looking to accept you, all right? You are foreign to them. You're a foreigner. So you need to understand what each country needs per time. I mean, of recent, I don't know who saw the news on the UK. They increased the amounts that you needed to have to be able to travel, like your proof of funds amount. It was increased, right? And also, I think they increased the number of years to I think about 10 years now. Yeah, so you need to stay, in the UK for 10 years to get your ILR, basically. So every country has unique needs. You need to understand that, right? Are they looking for remote workers? Are they looking for low-skilled labor? So those are things you need to understand. Then another thing is whatever amounts that you have saved up, how much are you currently making? Because countries have restrictions on how much you can make before you can, apply for their special visas for technology talents to relocate, right? So you should be planning, 6 months ahead of time, really saving up, and really thinking about how you will relocate, because it's not just getting a visa and traveling, right? You have to consider the cost of living in that new country. You have to consider your rent, right? Rent outside the country is a totally different ball game. What we pay per year is what you probably pay in like 2 months, some places 1 month, right? So you really need to think ahead of time for all those things if you want to relocate. So I think those are the common things that people need to think of and where people make pitfalls. Because when people call us for discovery sessions, we find out that they are not qualified right now. But in 6 months' time, in 7 months' time, with the right planning and guidance, they definitely will be qualified. So you have to think of all that before you say, okay, I want to relocate with my tech skills, right? I want to relocate as a global talent to the UK, to Portugal, to wherever. So really sit down and plan it very well, because it's a big life decision you're going to be making.
Thank you so much for that, Solomon. So Solomon is saying, read the news, consider other factors. It's not just your visa fees and tickets. Think about rent. Just think about the standard of living in general. Okay, my LinkedIn superstar, Oche, how are you doing? Okay. So please, can you tell us what strategies non-technical professionals can use to build a professional network, find job opportunities in a new location? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Oinda. So, for me, I think I'll share my personal experience more. First off, I think a very fundamental question to ask yourself when you're trying to find opportunities in new places or network generally is where is the attention? Where is the attention? And if I should ask every single one of us today, where is the attention? Where is that place everyone meets? Where is that place that we all meet to have a conversation? Where is that place that we all check every now and then? We'll probably all cross the internet, right? And the internet has served as a very great tool for me in terms of networking, in terms of getting jobs, getting gigs as a creator or freelancer, as the case might be. So before I relocated into Lagos, what I did was I started to intentionally look for people who already reside in Lagos, who were in my niche, who I could work with, who I could connect with before I got into Lagos, right? And so that by the time I moved into Lagos finally, it was a little easier to just hit this person up. Hey, guy, I'm in Lagos, so what's popping? Let's meet up and all of that, right? So the internet plays a huge role. For me, of course, there are several platforms you can leverage. But for me, I've settled on a platform like LinkedIn, particularly because it supports what I'm trying to achieve in terms of the professional network that I desire to be in. And so I would go on LinkedIn, I would connect with founders, tech enthusiasts, creators, people in marketing, and all of that. So it was easier for me because the internet played a very huge role. I was totally using LinkedIn as a tool to, build my own network and, of course, position myself to get job opportunities. I don't think that I even apply for jobs, particularly because, I've used LinkedIn to build my own personal brand. So please, by all means, leverage the internet, pick whichever platforms you're comfortable with and, start to do that. Secondly, you also want to leverage your local networking events like NoCode Summit, right? It's a very great place where you can connect, meet people. I can't tell you, now, I'm an introvert, or as an introvert, right? It took a little while, but I already learned before now that it's necessary. So what I did is I started to, immediately I got into Lagos, dropped my bags and, settled in. I started to intentionally look out for places that events like these were, held. And I would go there. And trust me, it becomes easier to win trust physically. I mean, you can have all of that online. I have all of that online, but I've closed a few gigs or a few deals just by meeting these people physically at events like this because, of course, the trust factor, was easier to, go over. So please, by all means, make sure that you're leveraging the internet and also try to be physically present in, events like this. Also, make sure to volunteer as much as you can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oche. We're pressed for time, so I'm just going to quickly circle back to Fisayo. Can you please share some challenges you have experienced as a global talent from Nigeria while working with foreign firms? And tell us how you solve them quickly, please.
Yeah. So I think being Nigerian comes with its own reputation. Everybody knows the Nigerian prince scam, right? So that's always something you can't shake as a Nigerian, and you're just going to have to live with it. But I do think when it comes to being a global talent, especially if you're a Nigerian global talent, you have to be very strategic in what you do and how you do it. So for example, my first job straight out of university, how I got it was LinkedIn. I had a list, so I made an Excel sheet because I love an Excel sheet. I made an Excel sheet with the name of every company I want to work with. I went on LinkedIn, I went on their website, I found the name of their HR person if it was listed, I found the LinkedIn of the HR person, I put all of it in a spreadsheet, and every day, I think we're on the same page about doing 50, 60 applications. Every day for almost like a 3-month period, I was contacting every single person I could find on that list. And if I've written to them on my Excel sheet, I write contacted, response, yes, no. And it was just a very tedious but systematic process of chasing down every lead I could find and eventually getting something. So it's about being very strategic and being very focused on that. And also when I was sending messages, I wasn't just saying, hello, HR manager. Like I made sure I had researched the company, I had researched their profile. Like if they like golf, I'll say, oh, Tiger Woods. I don't know. I don't really care about golf, but that's the example that came to me and I ran with it. But it's just about being very strategic about it because, again, I think once you're Nigerian, there's a reputation that comes with it, whether we like it or not. All of the Nigerians, they carry last. I think it carries through and you have to really pay attention to that. And also it feeds into like visa requirements, right? So if you're a Nigerian, you can't just go to Europe for 90 days visa free. So you have to pay attention to all of these things and you have to be very alert. If people are doing rubbish in the office, you need to make sure that you're not that person. Like you really need to keep your reputation tight and keep your reputation clean. As a global talent from Nigeria. Just FYI, the Excel sheet I think I don't know who I shared it with, but it's on someone's Twitter. I think it's either on my Twitter or on my LinkedIn. You're welcome to go and download it to sort of see the structure of what it looks like. But it's just about having a system or a strategy around how you're applying for these jobs. And there's also a line that says visa sponsorship because that's an important thing. But yeah, I'll hand over the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fikayo. So, Oche, you're a Gray user, right? So what's your favorite? So by the way, Gray is what most freelancers and digital nomads use. So when they're here, they're trying to receive money from their employers abroad, or they're abroad, they're trying to just receive pounds, USD and all that, they use Gray. So what's your best feature on the app?
Okay, first off, how many of us are freelancers here? Freelancers, creators.
Okay.
Okay, great. Bro, currency, any foreign currency showed me shege, quote and unquote, right? I mean, early on, it was very difficult trying to, earn from foreign clients and all of that. A few platforms that I joined did their own part of showing me shege as well. And I remember this one time when I got in one of my first few foreign clients, and yes, that kind of money that you call and, oh, I've made it in life, so I'm just going to, make money and move, but somehow because of payment issues, that didn't work out and I lost that client. The thing pained me as crazy. Yes, thank you. So, but that was before I met Gray, or I found Gray rather. I said met, yes, Gray is my best friend right now, so yeah, met, it works. That was before I found Gray, and so for me, one of the greatest things I love about Gray is the seamless nature of, currency conversion. You don't have to go through all those unnecessary hassles that certain platforms, will make you go through as stress. You will wait for KYC till God knows when, like the second coming of Christ, right? Gray just helps you to enjoy that convenience in terms of receiving foreign currency. You get to earn as a freelancer. You get to enjoy all of these amazing things easily. I not too like stress like that. I just want a soft life as much as possible. So Gray just gives me access to that in terms of getting paid by my own foreign clients. So I love the way that they offer all of us freelancers, business owners, creators, that seamless nature in terms of their currency conversion.
Okay, thank you so
Send
much.
funds.
Our time is up. I don't know if we still have time to go. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Does anyone want to ask any of the panelists any questions? Okay, thank you so much for listening to us. You can reach out to any of our speakers on social media. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for our speakers, our panelists. Thank you very, very much.